Hey guys, welcome to Discovery's Basecamp 1. Oh wow, check it out. This is a Mexican red-legged tarantula. I tell you what, come back and we'll talk about tarantulas. Yes. Hey guys, welcome to Discovery's Basecamp 1. It's a tarantula. The first thing that we need to ask ourselves, what makes a spider a spider? Well, I tell you what, it's the legs. Okay, let's count the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 legs makes a spider. Okay, so if you see something with 8 legs, chances are it's a spider. Now, let's look at this guy. His name is Dirty Harry. I'm going to call you Dirty Harry. How about that? The spider has hair all over his body. This is actually a Mexican red-legged tarantula, so he's obviously from Mexico. Had to go get him before they built the wall. So he's from Mexico, and if you look at his body, he's got hair all over his body. Why is that? Why would a spider need hair on their body? Well, guess what? It's not like your normal hair. Like my hair, soft. I use conditioner. It's great. Him, not so much. His hair is not soft. So when people say, hey, can I pet the tarantula? I'm like, no, you can't. Because the hair is like little barbs. It's like little needles. So here's what he uses it for. He uses it for protection. Here's how it goes. A predator comes up and he's messing around. He's looking at this spider. He's like, can I eat this spider? Well, guess what Dirty Harry does? Okay? Dirty Harry will actually take his back legs right there and he will flick the hairs off of his back and into the face of whatever animal is harassing him, okay? If you look closely at the back or the rump of the spider, you'll see a little bald spot, okay? Kind of like the one I got on top of my head. This one right here, this little bald spot, that's from him swiping away the hairs. And I know where those hairs went. I was actually doing a show with him one day, and one of the little kids jumped up in front of me and I put my hand over it. Woo! I got the hair, which felt like needles, all in my hand. And I itched my hand all day long. It was crazy. So there he goes. So what he does is he uses his hair not only for sensing stuff, but for protection. Now, these guys are great climbers. How are they great climbers? First of all, they got 8 legs. That has to help a little bit. But also, if you look very closely at them, which I doubt we're going to be able to see them, but they have, let's see if I could get them on me. They have claws at the end of each leg. Okay, I got to get him turned around, otherwise he's going to bite me. All right, there we go. Yeah, I don't like being bit. He has very, very sharp fangs. See, each leg has claws. They're like little pinchers. So you can actually feel them when he's walking on you. You can feel what feels like a hook or something. So that is one way that he's able to climb so well, is because of those little claws. Now, this guy, you'll mainly find terrestrial on the land. You're not going to find them too much up into trees. You're not going to find them spinning a web and sitting on it like other spiders. You're going to find him on the ground. Now, he does have what's called spinets. And if you come up close, right there, those black pieces on his rump, those are called spinets. And what he does is he uses those spinets to produce a silk. It's kind of like a web, but he's not producing it like other spiders. What he does is he lives down in a burrow, okay? He actually uses these big fangs to dig up the ground or dig into the wall, and he will make himself a burrow. And then what he does is he makes a silk door. Wouldn't that be pretty cool to have a silk door? That'd just look too cool. He makes a silk door. So when he goes in his burrow, let's put this down here a little bit, and we'll try and see how this works. When he goes into a burrow, and he's in there, he has a silk door right here. When something comes walking by, he will pounce past that silk door, grab it, and drag it inside his burrow. Now let's see if I could get him to come up onto my hand again. Be nice. Dirty. Be nice. Okay. So, you're not going to find them up in the webs. You are going to find them in the cliff sides, in the hills. You're going to find them down in the burrows. Now, when we talk about his fangs, he also uses his fangs to put venom into his prey, into his food. He actually eats things such as crickets or other insects. He can also eat mice. There are actually tarantulas called bird-eating tarantulas. But this one here, mainly just insects and small other arachnids or maybe even a lizard. What he'll do, see the two what look like legs up front? Those are actually really cool. They're not legs. Remember, we said they only have 8 legs. Well, what are those two things up front? They look like legs. They're not. They're what's called pediples. And pediples are used to feel. They're used to grab. They're kind of like hands. And so what he'll do is he'll grab a cricket, he'll bring it in, boom. He will lay his fangs into it. He will use his fangs to put the venom inside the insect like the cricket. Now, that will knock the cricket out enough to where he can start eating it. And as he's eating it, guess what? Something cool happens. If you like milkshakes, you're going to love this. He makes himself a cricket milkshake. Man, I would love to taste a cricket milkshake. I'm not kidding. Neither. That'd be cool. So he makes himself a cricket milkshake. As he's eating, he will put his saliva onto the cricket. His saliva churns up the insides of the cricket, and then he just sucks out all the insides, and he leaves the body parts behind. So, if we're in Costa Rica, like I was, and if we're in the rainforest and we're looking for Costa Rican tarantulas, what are we going to look for? We're going to look for body parts, and it's not going to be in the trees. It's not going to be in the webbing. It's going to be on the ground. So what we found were body parts on the ground, and then we found a burrow, and that's where these tarantulas were living, like the Costa Rican striped knee tarantula. Okay, guess what? When we come back, we're going to go further, and I'm going to tell you about more ways that this guy can protect himself. Awesome. Welcome back to Discoveries Basecamp 1. Now, this tarantula, as we were talking about earlier, has a great way to protect himself. Okay? he uses his hair. It's like needles. So you don't want to get hit by those hairs. He uses his back legs to really send them flying into whoever's trying to attack him. He's also got an exoskeleton. Okay, so the exoskeleton is kind of like your skeleton on the inside. Come on, onto my hand. It's kind of like your skeleton on the inside, but his is on the outside. Now, when spiders mature, they will actually, from very young to old, they will do what's called molting, okay? And so what this guy does, and if you have one as a pet, you will actually see this. What this guy does is each time that he grows, he will molt, which means he will come out of the outer part of the exoskeleton. Now, when he does this for a couple days, he's going to be vulnerable, okay? Because his exoskeleton hasn't hardened underneath yet. So you're going to have to watch and make sure you don't handle him until a couple days after he molts. Now, the exoskeleton is a hard shell on the outside that helps protect him, but it won't protect him against anything too bad. It looks bad, and animals are rarely wanting to encounter a tarantula like this. Now, when you're keeping them, you'll go up to the cage and you'll see what looks like 2 different tarantulas. Well, it's not 2 different tarantulas. It's your tarantula, and then it's the outer part, the molding, okay? Kind of like a snake shedding its skin. So what you want to do is go in and remove the molded part and leave your tarantula in there. Now, when he molts like that, and you give him time, soon the outside will harden up again. And as he gets bigger and bigger, he'll continue to do this. Here's a way to find out if your tarantula is a boy or a girl. Now, I call him Dirty Harry, and there's a good reason. He's a male, and guess what he does? He doesn't molt anymore. As your males get older, they stop molting. So if you've had your male for a few years, 5 years, and he stopped molting, he's definitely a male. The females, however, will continue to molt. Okay? Now, this guy can sense insects way far away, and he will follow the trail of an insect until he's able to get up on it. Okay, now when you keep these guys as pets, you don't have to have a big cage for them. Okay, they're not going to need a whole lot of room. What you are going to need is about a small glass cage or terrarium, and you're going to need to make sure that he has a burrow. You're going to make sure he has good substrate, usually some kind of wood. Some people just use, like a reptile substrate, and that's fine too. Now, you want to make sure these guys get plenty of insects. You want to make sure that they get water. But check this out. Stop. What you need to do is when you give them water, you need to make sure there's a sponge in there. Okay? You don't want to give them a big water bowl or something like that. You don't want them drowned. These guys actually get their water from the sponge. They will actually go up to the sponge. It protects them. They get their water from it. They suck on it just like they would their regular food. There really is no special lighting requirement. In my area, I have UVA, UVB all over the place, but these guys really do not require it. And they're fun. Now, these guys are bred in so many different styles and colors that some people get carried away with their spiders. I know some people that have about 50 of these around. Okay, that's a lot of spiders, a lot of insects, a lot of work keeping it clean. Even though it's a spider, you do want to keep the habitat clean. Guys, I hope you've really enjoyed our segment on spiders or tarantulas. Join me again next time for another episode. Hard telling what we're going to have at Discovery's Basecamp 1.